The idea that you are not allowed to sustain yourself creatively with money is one rooted in a limiting belief. And through the course of this video, I'm going to share with you some perspectives that will allow you to shift beyond any blocks, limiting beliefs, or old ideas of how you must relate to the world and what you're allowed to receive, so that you can live in a more coherent, flow-based, and enjoyable way. What I'm sharing isn't about efforting. It's not about pushing yourself or being anything other than who you truly are. In fact, the whole principle that I am going to share with you through the course of this video is that by giving yourself permission to actually access who you truly are, you will find it is more and more natural for you to receive money, for you to connect to opportunities, for you to have anything it is that your heart truly is calling for in this reality. And the only thing that actually prevents us, so to speak, from connecting with it is where we are consistently investing our energy, our focus, and our recurring thoughts, patterns, and belief systems. Now, some caveats before we dive in. While I will talk about money and resource in general, please understand that money and resource can be interchangeable for energy, whatever it is you'd like to receive to sustain and support yourself. Now, in that spirit, I'm Danielle Lynn. I am a flow amplifying facilitator in that I assist very cool people like you in remembering who you truly are and then living your life effectively in a way that is fluid, in a way that is satisfying. Now, it's only fair to share some of my background in relation to this topic, because what I'm sharing with you isn't just some ideology or conjecture I'm putting out there. I've actually applied flow-based living to practical life pursuits for the past, I'd say about 10 years now, very specifically. I've done it in the areas of my career, of business, of relationships, of life, love, and in all these areas, I've had some fantastic results. I've had some challenged results. But the accumulation of what I'm about to share, what we're about to explore together, are some of the key points that I found consistently along my journey when it came to giving yourself permission to really receive resource, money, energy, opportunities for living who you truly are. I utilize this to grow my channel, and you can view the different videos I've had here. This has all been organic. And this is operating from the same flow-based principles that I describe across the videos, that I describe in my self-alchemy lab, that I do in my trainings, all these things. And I'm sharing with you right now several keys so that you can right now apply them in your life if you so choose. So a big part of what I invite people to do anytime they're interfacing with money or resource is to really take a look at their personal programming in relationship to money itself, because that's going to give you a lot of context on how you relate. How do you give money? How do you feel when you pay bills? How do you feel when you put money out in the world? Are you angry? Do you feel depleted? Well, there's a good chance then that you don't want to create that scenario with other people, so you're going to feel consciously or unconsciously resistant to saying yes to money from others because you relate asking for money, even professionally, with draining another. Now, some people feel that they can do that, let's say, with a business or a corporation, because now they're not asking a person, now it's more of an entity, and they can receive it from that. And so this is where people start to explore their belief structure, their belief structures, instructions, and systems around giving and receiving. Another thing is, sometimes people have strong beliefs about what is or is not possible, how much you can or cannot ask for when it comes to money and things like this. Part of the whole exploration of your conditioning is realizing that you may be focused on a very tiny spectrum of what is possible, and then temporarily blocking out the story or even the knowing of all the other possibilities that exist. Something that I have personally learned in reality is if I am inspired to take action towards something, if I am genuinely heartfelt, passionate, it means that it exists somewhere, some form for me. And so if I invite myself to take the steps that I know how from this place, the details will reveal themselves to me as I go. But I don't need to assume what is or is not possible. I can invite myself to take the journey into the unknown with the knowing that it connects to an auspicious and inspiring outcome, so to speak. Sometimes when people talk to me, they hear when I say go all in with it, that I'm saying quit the job or do this or end the relationship. What I'm saying is go all in with the vision energetically. The external will sort itself out. When you go all in internally with your, what I like to call natural flow-based life, the details begin to sort themselves out as you take the consistent iterative steps in your life, moment to moment. In Neville Goddard's words, this is living in the wish fulfilled, so to speak. So Neville Goddard, he is I'm going to call him a philosopher and sage, who taught a lot about this kind of material. And when he shared his perspectives, he talked about living in the wish fulfilled. He was explaining embodiment. He's explaining being the vibrational embodied state, and that is the place you are living regardless of the external circumstances going on. And then as you continue to interface with your reality, the reality itself orients to you and your chosen state. Now you get to invite yourself to explore your relationship with money, resource, and your creative power. Because most of the time, when there is a pause there between you receiving things from your creative energy or receiving an experience you want in life and how money comes or goes from you, there is some kind of story, belief system, there is something active within the scope of personal power, survival, resource, and fairness. This is some of the common patterning I've seen that has anything to do with your expression and receiving money. What is your relationship with personal power? How do you feel about money? Recently, in the Self-Alchemy Lab, I actually posed a question to the people in the lab. If money was a person, what would your relationship with money be? How would you relate to the person money? Would it be someone that you feared? Would it be someone that you felt you were always chasing and trying to get them to notice you? Would you feel like you were grabbing at them and wanting to be their friend? Would you have a casual relationship? Your relationship with money has a similar energetic operating principle. How you relate to money. Do you feel victimized by money? Are you angry about money? Are you angry at the system? These things will show you where the belief system is. So now let's look at your creative energy, the thing you'd like to put out in the world. Well, sometimes we get this fixated idea of what it is to put your work out in the world. Say you are an artist and you are envisioning, okay, I get to put my art out in the world. But then you come across some courses and people share with you, okay, but you're going to have to market yourself. Being an artist and getting paid as an artist is really a lot of marketing. Well, I would say just about anything in the world is really a lot about marketing, because marketing is really just about connecting heart message to heart message at its core, from my perspective anyway. In a sense, you can view the exalted version of marketing as a genuine expression of your core passion to a way where everyone's buying in. Whether or not you seem to be selling something, people are buying into your vision. People want to contribute. They want what you're selling, right? Your energy can become very infectious in this way. And when you do it from a genuine place, it's not what you might call a sleazy thing. It becomes a yes and thing because it's authentic, it's inspired. You are offering a vibrational experience of truth as yourself, and others are going, yes, please. And you can cultivate that in formats where others can engage with you. I've consulted with a lot of people who have asked me how to express their passion in the world. And maybe they want to change the world. They want to share vibrational ideas. They want to uplift others. They want to do all these things. And I say, well, what is it that you want to do? How do you uplift yourself? How do you express your passion and joy? I've used the example before of someone that I knew who shared philosophy and spiritual teachings, and they were just running a barista shop. They had a little barista coffee cub, and they would serve coffee and philosophy all day. But what they were doing in running that business is they were actually uplifting people, because they would offer perspectives. They would share the beauty from their heart. And people would come back again and again. And you could say, well, maybe it was for the coffee, maybe. But a lot of people, including myself, would make the journey to see this coffee shop owner because they were uplifting those around them. And so the vehicle through which you express your creative joy or passion can come in so many different forms. The idea that it must be constricted to a specific format may be something that your ego story is attached to. And so one of the invitations you have, and one of the invitations I'm inviting, like in this particular video, is to ask yourself, is that so? Is this really my yes and? Is this really for me? And if you say yes, then wonderful. And say, does it have to be in this format? Am I attached to the idea of it turning out this way because I think it will give me something? Because a lot of times when we feel anger or restricted in expressing our creative self, we think we need something over here to be who we are now. But the thing is being over here is a symptom of who we are now. And so when you release the story of how it has to look like and you just start being it, once again, reality transforms around you. These different keys that we're touching on here, my friend, they're all pinpoints. Things that on some level you already know, that I'm highlighting for us because you found this video because you are ready to express yourself more and more so in these ways in your life. And not just express yourself, but have multiple means of which resource can reach you. Because here's the final key I'll share today. Sometimes people think, okay, but I have to get money or resource from this particular venture. Sometimes simply expressing yourself creatively opens up the inspiration, ideas, and the field for money and resource to reach you, but it doesn't always need to look like the practical business exchange that you think it does. Sometimes it comes through investors. Sometimes it comes through grants. Sometimes it comes through all kinds of things. But the thing is, I have found that that approach works when once again you stop letting go of how it has to look or even how you imagine it must look, and you just start living the steps, and you live them so fully and completely that your energy becomes magnetic. Your energy is revealed as magnetic, and you start to magnetize to you these auspicious experiences. A final note I'll share: to receive is to give is to receive. And when we are feeling lacking, we give. And I know that sounds like, what? You want me to empty myself further? When we feel lacking, we give because we begin the creative flow and exchange of energy. When you give, you open up space to receive. It actually is like letting out water. If the pond is stagnant, you want more water flowing, you're letting it out. You're letting water out so more can come in and fill it up, is the way that I would look at it. You are creating flows so things can flow back to you. Now, what you give doesn't have to be money. There's many ways to give, but when you give authentically, and don't give because you're expecting to receive money. You give because it is your way of tending to the garden of your life, and it is a natural state for you to operate in. So find the places and the ways that you can authentically give. And when you are giving, give in places that are actually going to be nourished by it. This is the other side of the coin. Use your discernment. I wouldn't generally advise to water concrete. You find the fertile ground with seeds planted in it and you water that. and that tends to bear more fruit. So in the same way, be discerning about where you are allocating your giving, your energy, your time, your resource. Be aware of who and where you are focusing. I've often said it is not your job to save others, because when you start thinking of it that way, you might overextend yourself in a particular situation that's not actually receiving nourishment by you contributing. And yet, through you naturally nourishing yourself and giving authentically, you inevitably assist all those around you. It's a very interesting paradox. Now, if you do want to go deeper in this, I invite you to check out the description area. At the time of creating this, I'm actually going into some deeper reality surfing methodologies in the Self-Alchemy Lab. So I invite you to come and check it out if it's a heart yes for you. I also invite you to check out my description link. There's some cool resources there that people find very, very helpful in their journeys. And I imagine if you feel called to any of them, you'll find them helpful as well. And in all cases, I deeply appreciate you, my friend. And I look forward to our next conversation.